Kadowski, Influential Health Solutions, back again with another installment about your pesky pain. Today we are going to talk about IT band syndrome, or maybe more accurately the fact that it does not exist. What you are actually feeling is an issue associated with your glute minimus first, and then your vastus lateralis second. Okay? Had to do a little bit of digging, but I ended up finding out a really great picture showing how your glute minimus is a continuation of your vastus lateralis, which is a muscle on the outside of your leg. We'll get to that in just a little bit. What the glute minimus does is it is actually a stabilizer for your hip to your femur. Okay, the acetabulum, the head of the femur. So when this guy gets irritated, normally by sitting right here, okay, what will happen is you will then start to get tightness in that muscle, which will develop trigger points and then send irritation down the leg into the knee and the calf. Okay, so how does it do this? Well, if we go to our glute minimus trigger point diagram right here, it starts to get real messy real quick. Okay, we can see right over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different trigger points on this portion of the glute minimus, and then look at where it sends the pain. Some of it will go into the glute, down the side of the hip, into the hamstring and the calf. This guy right here is a little bit less occurring in the people that I see. This is the one that I see a lot of. Okay, glute minimus, again, we have more lateral trigger points that are now pushing a lot of the pain, as you can see here, into the lateral aspect of the thigh, also down into the calf. Okay, so in combination, a lot of times with people that run a lot, not only will I see a tight glute minimus, but if we go into the vastus lateralis, the outside portion of the thigh, we will also see this guy get lit up by a lot of trigger points. The reason being is because we're only taking the muscle through a partial range of motion. I'm sorry, we're only taking the joint through a partial range of motion when we are running. We're never bending that knee fully, and more importantly, we're never taking the hip and the knee through a full range of motion, which would be kind of like an ass to grass squat or an Olympic squat. Okay, you ever see those guys, butts resting on their calf? That's a full squat, not the 90-degree stuff you see in the global gyms. Okay, so in conjunction with the glute minimus being tight, that's going to push pain into the vastus lateralis, which is also going to create a lot of pain, not only in the thigh, but the outside of the knee, as you can see here, okay, going to the outside of the knee, and everybody screams, it's IT band syndrome, it's IT band syndrome. Your IT band, as far as I know, does not have any nerves whatsoever. It's a large tendinous sheath, okay? So the pain is not coming from your IT band. It is first and foremost coming from the glute minimus, and then it starts to develop in the lateral aspect, the outside of the thigh, the vastus lateralis. So we're going to go outside into the lab, and I am going to show you how to release these two muscles in 3 easy steps so you can keep running to your heart's delight. Alright guys, just like I promised, we are going to go through 3 simple steps right now in order to get the alleged IT band syndrome to go away, okay? Remember, there is really no such thing as IT band syndrome. We are really trying to release the vastus lateralis, the big, thick quad muscle that is actually underneath the IT band. So it gets a little bit tricky because first, we have to release that glute minimus, okay? You're gonna grab a lacrosse ball. Your glute minimus, I'm gonna do the left side right now. Your glute minimus is right at your waistband, okay? And it's very much lateral. It's not too much to the front, it's not all the way in the back by the butt. It is right up against, as you saw on the anatomy chart, here's my hip bone right here for my femur, and then here is the top portion of my hip, my pelvis. It's gonna be right at your waistline, okay? It's connecting the two. It's going from between the head of the femur to the top portion of your hip. So the way that we get at this guy, so I'm gonna lay on my left-hand side, and I'm gonna place it right at my waistband. And from there, all I'm gonna do is lay completely on my side, okay? Left leg is out extended, right leg is up and back just a little bit to give me some leverage. And I'm gonna do short strokes going up and down. This guy is going to be very painful, especially if this is the first time that you're working on it, okay? As you get on this guy and you're searching, you're looking for rough spots, you're looking for anything that's tight, tender, sore, you may start to feel some sort of pain go down the leg. Remember, we saw two parts of the glute minimus, okay? The one that is a little bit more medial, if we go back a little bit, it'll go down the leg. The one that's a little bit more lateral, closer to the front part of the hip, you're going to have go straight down the leg. I almost sometimes call this fake sciatica. People tell me, oh, I got sciatica pains going down my leg. I have them bend over and touch their toes. Your piriformis is not tight. You don't have sciatica. You have a tight glute minimus, okay? So we want to get in there, like I said, short strokes and really grind that tissue out. If we get to feel that pain go down the leg, perfect, you're in the right spot, don't move. And we want to do this for about 4 to 6 minutes at a time, okay? After we've done that, step number 2, we're gonna have actually 3 parts to. A lot of times the outside portion of that thigh can be very, very, very tender. So we want to start off with something that has a big circumference, like a foam roller. If we're starting off with a foam roller, we want to rake that tissue, okay? As we rake the tissue, we're not gonna roll it, we wanna rake it. There's a big difference. Rolling is when I see people get up and they do something like this, okay? Not doing anything at all to that tissue. You wanna pivot once again, right leg back, and then you are going to nice and slowly just drag that roller down to the side of the knee. Every so often you're gonna reset to try and hit some of these tight areas. Your main focus is to make sure that the outside of the leg is nice and relaxed. You don't wanna tense it up. That's gonna be one of the hardest parts because it is going to be sore. I'll tell you right now, it's gonna be very, very sore. You might hit some bumps and lumps along the way. That's all right. All that stuff is now starting to melt as you are rolling and raking that tissue nice and slowly all the way down to the outside of the knee. After you've been doing this for a couple of days, in some cases it's going to take up to a week, we want to graduate to something the size of a softball. Okay, this is once again Kelly Starrett's MWAD ball. What I like to do, once again, start off at the top part of the hip. I'm going to relax that leg and I'm just going to roll it right down nice and slowly to the outside of the knee. Okay, when I get there, I'm going to roll it back and here I am, nice and easy, nice and easy. That was Hurley, the family pet that just walked by. So once again, all the way down to the outside of the knee. We're gonna reset. Once again, looking for anything tight, tender, sore, anything that's referring pain. Okay, nice and slowly, 4 to 6 minutes. So maybe we did that for about 4 or 5 days and it's not really producing that much pain. What we wanna do, we wanna graduate now to something the size of a baseball. This is Kelly Starrett's MWOD ball again, the smaller portion, the smaller one, not the bigger one. Getting back on the tissue, starting at the hip, and then gradually going down all the way to the outside of the knee. Paying attention once again to any sore, tight, or tender spots, anything that is tender or referring pain, that should be a focal point. Okay, 4 to 6 minutes. Maybe we did that for a couple of days again. And then you can get down to the lacrosse ball. Okay, once you are at the lacrosse, basically once you're at the baseball, you should really have no more pain while you're running in that knee. If you do, I'd be quite surprised. All it means is it's not ready to let go or expand yet. Keep on working with whatever ball you're using. If that ball isn't creating that much pain or tenderness, then move to the lacrosse ball. And same thing, when you get down to the lacrosse ball, now you're able to really focus on some tight areas. The smaller the circumference, it's kind of like going from a, you have the roller and it's like a bazooka. It's just gonna cover a wide area. And then you go to a softball, it's gonna be a little bit more like a semi-automatic. And then you're gonna go to the baseball, it's gonna be a little bit more like a full automatic. You're gonna be able to do a lot of damage, cover a little bit smaller area. And then this would kind of be like a sniper rifle, okay? You're gonna be able to hit some really small spots in there, stuff that is creating pain that the other balls could not get pressure into. And once again, your focus is just on maintaining the outside of that leg and keeping it nice and relaxed. You don't want to tense it up. You don't want to contract that muscle, because then you're not going to be doing anything. You're just going to get a lot of pain and you'll get tired and not too much is going to be happening. Okay, 4 to 6 minutes with that guy too. And then you should be running pain-free for the rest of your life, as long as you keep maintaining it, all right? Do me a favor, hit that like button or subscribe. I'm gonna be putting videos out like this, hopefully daily, but for the most part right now, weekly. And let me know in the comments below if there's anything else that you want to see or anything I'm not covering. Take it easy, guys.